62 Rambler that we rescued is back in the garage. We need to get this thing off the trailer, but it's on 3 flats. I can't push it off by myself. I've tried. Here at the Texas garage, I have no way of dragging it off. So we need to drive it off. And yes, we did get it running for the first time in 47 years, but we still don't know if the push button flash-o-matic transmission works. So we gotta figure that out. And I think it involves vacuum lines. The right rear is locked up. We need to make a fuel system. If we could get the driver's door open all the way and find the key inside the car, that would make things easier. The gas pedal is not connected to the carburetor, and we probably don't have brakes, which means as soon as we put her in gear, we might be in the kitchen baking an apple pie, which would actually be pretty good right now. Or maybe a meatloaf. Yeah, that's hard on the knuckles. Rough on the nuts. Rambler hoods. This is a Rambler thing. You know, a vent would be nice. Hit the like button if you want gas cans to actually work again. Oh, that's like it was meant to be. It's completely fine if the gas can falls into the fan with no belt. She's not gonna turn. Ooh. This water pump she's seen better days. When we first got the car running, we were just pouring gas in the carburetor and it would run for a few seconds and then die. And that was fine just to see if it would run. But now that we need it to run for a bit longer so we can test the transmission and try driving it off the trailer, we need some sort of gas tank. Now, there is one in the car, but it's safe to assume that that gas tank and the lines are probably full of crud and junk, and we don't want to suck that up into the carburetor and get shut down immediately. That's why we're going to use that as our gas tank, because we know it's clean. And I just hit my head on the light. All we got to do to hook it up is just disconnect the fuel pump from that line that goes back to the factory tank and connect it to our new tank. And we'll use this hose to do it. It'll look something like that. This is only going to work if this fuel pump works. Oh, there's no clamp on this hose. Somebody's tried this. Somebody beat us to it. That probably lowers our chances. Oh, come on, you little devil. Come on. Come on, I know you want to come off. Come on, baby. Come to daddy. She's a little stubborn. Oh. Okay, the fuel line just broke right in half. Well, folks, I think this is a little friendly reminder to all of us to replace our rubber fuel and brake lines when we bring it all classic home like this. She just broke right in half. This stuff just dries out with time. There's nothing you can do about it. You don't want to be sitting in the Dairy Queen drive-thru with your loved ones packed in the hot rod and she conks out on you. We're going to be getting to the rubber vacuum lines for the transmission in a couple minutes, and this is killing the guy's confidence. Fuel system is complete. I didn't put a hose clamp on there because it's pretty gosh darn snug. I think we'll take our chances with that. It'll be fine for now. Actually, now that we've been sitting here pondering on this for a couple seconds, the metal fuel line that goes from the fuel pump snakes around back there, comes up here, and then it hooks into the carburetor. How about instead of hooking that up, we put a rubber line on here and shoot her into a bucket or something and see what comes out. Here, why don't we do this? Now, this is not going to be leak proof, but if we were outside, I would just pump gas all over the place. But we don't want to burn my house. Well, I don't want to burn my house down. I hope you don't either. We'll do this, wrap that around like that. And then maybe put an oil pan right here in the battery tray or something. Oh my gosh, I'm telling you, this needs to end. There's always something in your way, something on top of everything. Can't a guy just get some, guy needs to improve his, I don't know, his pegboard skills or something. Well, would you look at that? Another thing that looks like it was made for it. Holy Toledo. Now I'm curious to see if the bend in that hose is enough restriction to slow down the pumping fuel to where it'll just trickle into this oil pan, or if it's gonna completely miss the oil pan and hit the breaker box. Just pulled the battery out of the 67 C10, which means there's a 50% chance it's dead, but got it just in time. It's starting to pour out there. Do you ever just find yourself randomly thinking, man, the Beach Boys are good? Guess we will shoot the fuel off onto the passenger side. Seems solid. If you were to ever burn down the garage that's attached to your house, a day like today would be the day to do it. It's raining pretty good out there. Since we still don't know if we have a key, which we'll have to search the car for, we will use a wire to get power from the battery to the distributor, power the ignition points in the distributor. But we're not going to hook that up yet because we don't want the engine to start. We just want to crank it over and see if that fuel pump will pump fuel through our mousetrap contraption here. And we'll turn her over with my Sears remote starter switch, which is a family heirloom. It's the kind of heirlooms you have in a family of gearheads. It's thundering. Okay, so that's clipped onto the small post on the solenoid. It's the green wire down there on this car. And then this one goes to power on the battery. And as long as the battery's grounded, you should have juices. Well, let's give her some crankage and hopefully we get fuel flowage. And hopefully it happens before this battery dies, or we're going to be shut down for probably about an hour. Hold on, fellers, we got a, there we go, issue with our work light there. All right, back in action. All right, let me know what's going on over there. You might have a little bit better angle than me. Nothing. She's a shaky cranker. Well, is the line not down in the fuel? Well, she's in there all right. All right, let me know what the heck's going on over there. Let's try it again. See any sense in running this battery down any more than we already have, and beating the starter up more and heating up these cables that are about to start on fire. The fuel's only got to make it 36 inches. If it was pumping, it would have been here by now. You know, when we got this home and got it running after it had been abandoned for 47 years, we walked around the car, and I was thinking that because of how solid this car is, and complete, it must have, looks like it was just randomly parked one day. Maybe it was parked because of the fuel pump went out, something that simple. I think maybe we should take the top off that pump and see if there's a clogged filter in there. Yep, that's about to strip out. Good thing I didn't go too Rambo on it. Well, that's not good. Well, where'd you go? Hello? Where are you? We got ourselves a nice little Fram unit here. I don't see any rusty chunks or anything. It's wet. I don't know. Should we put it back together and keep pumping? I say let's keep pumping. Pumping in 3, 2, 1. Oh, I didn't tell you. Put the bell back on, but not the filter. I thought, you know, go big or go home. Oh. There's more fuel in here than the last time. I mean, it's not a lot, but it's wetter, or more wet, whatever you want to call it. Makes me think maybe it's probably gummed up. Well, I threw the top back on it because I made the executive decision that we're just gonna bypass the pump, but then I started thinking about that disconnected line hanging down there. This fuel pump doubles as a vacuum pump for the wipers. So this hose connects to the fuel pump, and then it runs up into the firewall and to the wipers. Let's cut a clean end on the hose, stick it on, and then we'll see if for some reason that allows it to pump fuel. I got my sharpest worn out blade here. Well, it just snapped, but it snapped fairly clean. Well, why won't you go on? It doesn't help I can't see you. It just snapped and now it's too short. I guess we'll just cover it up with some electrical tape and we'll try it. I don't have very high hopes for this. It couldn't be any easier to start a fire than kindling that's been drying for 47 years, sparks, and an open fuel source. I got rid of our catch pan. Honestly, I don't think we're gonna need it, which means this is probably the time where it's gonna go spraying everywhere. One more and we'll give it a rest. Yeah, it's not doing it. I just set us up to gravity feed, and then I got to thinking, well, maybe we should check and make sure that this fuel line doesn't have some sort of a restriction in it, maybe some little bug nest or something. So let's disconnect it down there at the fuel pump, and then from this end up here we'll blow some compressed air into it and see if anything comes out. I'm real curious to see if fuel's making it into this line. If it is, then there's probably a restriction further down the line. Looks pretty dry. Alright, let me know if you see something come out. That looked like a little bit of dust mixed with maybe some water coming through the airline, but that's nothing that's gonna cause a restriction. So I think we're gonna rebuild that fuel pump on another day. So for right now, let's go to gravity feed. We gotta hook up our coil wire because we want this girl to fire up this time. Let's see if we can get it to idle so that we can drive it off the trailer. Here we go. Oh, we got no juicage. Alright, it's idling. She didn't like it when we revved her up. Let's see if we can just get it to idle again. Breaking it. In that little bit of time we had her running, she was puking transmission fluid out the top of the dipstick tube. And you can tell that we're not the first person she's done that to. It's kind of all over the place back there. I would bet you just about anything that somebody just overfilled it, that's all. And that might even be why it was parked. Alright, so now we know that it's gonna idle, and I really didn't think it was going to. But so now the next step is to hop in the car, put it in drive, and drive it off the trailer. It's not really that simple though, because we're in a confined space, which brings up a set of new challenges. The first thing is, was it just me or did it sound like it was idling a little high? I did notice that the idle screw is backed out all the way. There's nothing we're gonna do here in the next few minutes or hour or two that's gonna lower the idle speed. We don't want to put it in drive and it takes off through the kitchen wall. I actually wouldn't mind seeing a car go through a wall. The other challenge is that the accelerator pump is shot, and I know that because when we revved her up a little bit here a minute ago, she died. She's not squirting the juice in, and there's no way this car is just gonna idle off the trailer with 3 flats. And the other new challenge, other than all the safety issues I just rattled off, I don't want to overheat this engine. The cooling system is bone dry, and I don't want to put any water in it because the hoses are just rock hard. They're brittle, just like all the other hoses that we've snapped. These Nash Design 196 engines are very sensitive to overheating. Some say that if you find an abandoned Rambler like this, odds are it was parked because it was overheated. Which is a long way of saying that when we fire it up to drive it off the trailer, we need to be prepared and do it quick. We're not gonna let this thing sit around and idle for 10 minutes. We're gonna fill her up with fuel again, start her up with the remote starter switch, and then I'm gonna stick my arm through the window and put it in gear. And I will have this safety fishing line attached so that if the car takes off towards the kitchen, I can, oh, well, actually, maybe it's a good thing we just tested it because it didn't work. It's just a 10-second delay, that's all. So we start the engine, and then we stick our arm through this window, not this one where we're more susceptible. And then we stick our arm in through this window, not this one, because this is the one where when the car takes off to the kitchen, we get drug along with it. Reach up to the transmission buttons, that's low, that's 1, that's 2. We'll try low first. FYI, that's reverse, and then that's neutral / the start button. And if things get buck wild, I pull the string. I reposition the wire to the other side of the terminal. Let's see how that works. 3-second delay. It's better than 10. And we're obviously not driving the car off the trailer with the trailer this far into the garage. It's just a test to see if the transmission does anything. So we got blocks in front of the left rear and the right rear. What could go wrong? Maybe one more. You never know. Okay, I chickened out. I can't put this thing to the wall. It's idling way too fast. I got a better idea. Well, we got some bad news, fellas. I could just delete this and you'd never even know about it. But this is reality. Somehow I stripped this out, and now she's just spinning in here, and she don't want to do nothing now. I was trying to bolt this winch mount to the concrete floor so we could get the Rambler off the trailer without killing ourselves, and we could use the winch for future projects. If a guy just had a tree that he could chain a car to and drag the trailer right out from underneath it, I would have done that a long time ago. Like Bruce Hornsby said, that's just the way it is. But no reason to panic. Next time we'll get her off the trailer, get the doors open, and start the process of getting her back on the road.